I'm Kim Kral. I am reporting to you not live from my closet. Hi guys. Hi. I am very stressed out this morning. I have really good friends in town. My best friends are in town. And of course, I have had nothing going on for several weeks. And then, like a year. And then the week they're in town, I have a bunch of stuff. And I hate complaining because it's all cool stuff, but they're like waiting on me. And I'm like, and there's like nothing. Yeah, like I just need to remind myself to breathe. Like it's going to be okay. I'm going to get there when I get there. Everyone's going to be fine. But, I'm just like running around and then it's just like one thing after another. And then I don't know, I get really like frazzled. I probably ought to look at that because this is all cool shit. I submitted my book to my editor last night. I have somebody who proofread it and then I had Whitney and then we got an editor. So I have a book that is ready to go to an editor and it will be done in 3 weeks. And then it'll be, so it's just like, I don't know. And it's so funny. I got a couple messages about imposter syndrome and I really appreciate it. And no, I'm going to respond. I'm so stressed out, you guys. It's like literally like, and it's like, these aren't real problems. It's like people care about me and are reaching out to me and love my shit that I'm putting out. I'm just like, I just need to take a breather and be like, enjoy this, just fucking enjoy it. But I did get a few messages from people about imposter syndrome and I really appreciate your words. I will respond soon. I promise. Probably after Memorial Day weekend. That is when things may slow down some. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe. I mean, this is also the career I've chosen and I'd rather be really busy and freaked out than like not getting any calls. Do you know what I mean? But I now all the voices about my book are coming in. All the, it's like I had to reread it last night. And I'm now like, it's not long enough. You didn't actually write a book. It's this, it's that. I wrote like 50,000 words. That's a lot of words, 50 fucking thousand words. And I don't even know. I think that's like a 150-page book. That's pretty good for a short story. Like it's for a first book. I don't know. But like all the voices in my head are like, no one's going to buy this. This is stupid. You shouldn't do this. Maybe you should have done a book about this instead. All the like sabotage voices that like tell you like right when you're going to finish a big project, like, who do you think you are? No one's going to read this. And you know what? The only thing I have found with that is sharing it and then doing the next best thing. Like that's the only like solution I have found with that is just sharing the book or sharing the voices in my head with others because most people feel this way about their own shit. And then just like yesterday, I was just like, all right, voices, awesome. But I still have to finish this chapter. So we're going to just read this chapter and you can chat in the background if you want about how we're going to fail, or we can all be hands on deck in here. That's my committee in my brain. And so and then I have an agent that is interested in me, but there's some stuff that I don't really know about. And it's just also scary. And I'm like, it's scary and cool and scary, right? It's scary and scary. But it's cool. But it's just like, I am like, you don't have to say yes. And you also can say, let me think about it. I just have this fear that I'll say, let me think about it. They'll say, never mind, we'll pass. And then 2 days from now, my current agent will be like, we don't want you anymore. Like, I just have this like fear that I'm just like, no agent, but it's like, it's going to be fine. It's just all going to be fine. I'm so stressed out. And then my period started today and it's just, and I'm so tired. I'm going to talk openly about a period. I love that we are finally allowed to do that. My whole life, it's been like, ew, girls and their periods. And now it's just like, dude, if boys had periods, we'd only talk about that. That's it. We'd only talk about how blood came out of them and it wasn't actually blood. It was like the lining of inside of their body once a month and this horrible pain happens. I may be a little grumpy. I'm not grumpy. I'm just really stressed out. I'm really grateful all of this is coming now, though, because I don't have time to be sad. Update on the guy. I ended it, I don't know, like 5 days ago. And then he wrote back a bunch of, like, we haven't ended it officially in a Zoom or face-to-face, or it's been all through text. And maybe it's almost been a week ago at this point. But then he sent me like a long bullshit text about, I don't know. I just a lot of like just more confusing communication. And which was basically like, yeah, you can't fire me. I've already quit. You know what I mean? And it's just like, and then it's like, but I still want to talk. And it's just, I don't know. And then I asked some more questions and then crickets. And it's just really shitty. But I will say that last year I wrote about him in my book. And I knew I had this chapter about him, and I haven't reread it since I sent it to my Whitney to proofread like a year ago. And so when I was putting the book together last night, I was like, I don't even know if I'll add that chapter in it. Like, I don't know if it's relevant anymore. And I reread it, and it is relevant, and it will be in there. And the chapter is literally like word for word what he's doing right now. So what he did last year, he's literally doing word for word, action for action. It just took him longer to show his true colors this time, which really sucks. It's really painful. I do know that he won't be listening to this anymore. He never has, which is also telling. Like, even though I was like, I hope he doesn't because I'm talking about him and I asked him not to do it. It's before I asked him not to do it, he wouldn't listen to it. That's a lie. That's a lie. He did tell me he downloaded it once, but then I told him not to listen to it. So I'm just mad. I'm mad at him. I'm hurt. And I'm grateful that this is happening, because I ended it like the day before my best friends came here. And I was like, ew, that's bad timing. Should I have done that? Because then I'm going to be sad while they're here. And then I was like, actually, that's perfect timing, because you're going to be so busy, not worry, like so busy with them, focusing on them. I'm so fucking hot. I have an audition after this, so I have my hair all done up and I'm just like sweating. But it was like the perfect time to do it, because like I don't have time. Like last year when it ended, the world ended. So I just had my thoughts and staring at my phone, and I don't know. I'm sad, and I care about this person and I wish things were different, but they're not. And he is an emotionally unavailable person. And I reread my book last night. How cool is that statement? I reread my book, which is going to be published soon. So fucking cool, right? And the whole book is about not putting up with, unavailable shit, or like fuckboy attitudes, or I'm trying to think of a better than fuckboy or unavailable, but just like bullshit, like not being treated any less than you deserve. And I read the whole book, and I was just like, Jesus, yeah, it's good you ended this, because you're writing a book about how you have higher self-esteem now. And honestly, I'm grateful that I don't regret giving him a second chance. There was a lot of lessons, a lot of growth. I learned a lot of stuff of what I want and what I don't want in a relationship. And I learned that maybe I'm not so emotionally available. Because I think that you attract what you want, or what, you are, if that makes sense. Like, you attract the people in your life. It's like kind of a mirror of who you are. Like they say, I'm not making this up, but I'm not doing it right with the percentages, but they say the percentages of, they say a high percentage of the people you hang out with are your biggest qualities. Does that make sense? So like, yeah, like everybody you hang out with is really just like a mirror of yourself and your qualities. So if you hate something about somebody, it's typically that you have it too. It's like psychology 101. So I attracted an emotionally unavailable man again, and maybe it means I'm not emotionally available, and that's some stuff I need to look at. I will say that I haven't wanted to really share the details with people. Ooh, I'm getting emotional. I'm really sad. I was really hopeful for this one. It's not personal. I know that this guy is not, he's got some shit, and he's kind of an asshole for doing this, and so I am not like, that's the difference in this, like, I can so it's basically like, it's like Groundhog Day, except for I'm different now. You know what I mean? So it's like literally the same thing that happened last year, except for I'm different now. And I am just mourning. I'm crying, I'm writing a lot, and I'm not sharing too much, because the few people I've shared it with, they have their opinions about, and honestly, I don't want to hear that, well, maybe he's this, or maybe he's that, or maybe he'll come around, or maybe he just this. And it's like, I don't fucking care. I don't care if he's engaged to be married and that's why he did this. I don't care if he's like in therapy trying to work on his like self-sabotage shit. I don't care. Like, the bottom line is, this isn't acceptable behavior for someone who wants to be in my life. So I don't need to like figure out why he's doing this. It's none of my business. What is my business is my self-care. And then I also was finding myself, I was talking to my cousin who is just, I'm so grateful for her. About it. And she was just like, it sounds like you keep trying, you're like making a case for yourself. Like you don't have to explain yourself to me or to anybody else. And that was like someone important in my life sort of did a thing where it was just like, well, it's about time that you stood up for yourself. Well, I mean, you're right where you're supposed to be, but like, you need to look at the fact that he was like, and it was like, I don't need to look at anything. Like, like she was trying to like overanalyze it to like, this was part of my shit. You know, like I picked this guy because I had a traumatic childhood. And like, yeah, maybe a little bit of that, but like, I've done so much fucking work I was so angry about this. And I mean, I told her, I was like, dude, I don't think you're right. And she was like, okay, well, maybe you ought to look at it. And I was like, no, dude, you're not right. Like I didn't if this man came back into my life and was just like, I have no intention of moving to LA, but I'd like to give this long distance thing a try, I wouldn't have said yes. Like I had like specific criteria about being back in his life, and he was supposed to move here like 4 months ago. And so like, I don't know, it just really pissed me off. And I just like, I just don't need to talk to everybody about it this time. I know I'm on a podcast talking to everybody about it, but I'm being vague, and I also don't have anybody telling me, right? But it's just like, I don't care about your opinion. Sorry. I know, like, if my cousin, and I mean, I say this a million times, and she was, and this was one of my rules, is that like, don't answer questions you're not asked. And I don't do that. And I don't like, but she's like, a lot of people don't know that. And so sometimes you just have to go into a situation and be like, hey, I got this. I don't need your advice. I don't need what you think I should do. Like, I got this. And that's the thing. Like, I've got this. I've had this the whole time. I'm sad. I entered into a new relationship with someone with an old person who said that they had changed. I went in open-hearted. I was communicative. I set boundaries. And when it wasn't, and I gave it a college try. I gave it the college try. But like, you know what I mean? Like this isn't my shit. I didn't pick a shitty person. He's not a shitty guy. He's doing shitty things, but it just really pissed me off. And I have to call this person tomorrow. And I think they're going to ask about this again. And I'm probably going to have to be like, yo, it's not cool. It's not cool. Like, no, it's like and now I'm sad, but that's human shit. Like, yeah, human shit. It's not, I don't know if I'm conveying any of this, but it just, I'm sad. And that's a normal human reaction to what happened in this. Like a relationship I was hopeful for didn't pan out, and it doesn't have to be about my bad childhood every time. It's about, I don't know. It's just about, it's just how it works. It's just part of it. I'm one step closer to the guy. And I also don't have a bird's eye view. And we haven't even talked, this guy and I. The one major problem he and I had is that he is avoidant and distant, and I am codependent and needy. Like, neither one of us all the time, but like when shit gets weird, I go to codependency and neediness, and I'm in a 12-step program to help me not do that. And he gets avoidant and distant, and that is a terrible combo of two people. So then like I get more demanding and needy, and he gets more like, I just can't talk to her. And the only thing I can do right now is literally do nothing. And I get to be sad, and I don't have to talk to it's just, I don't know. I've decided, I just am like, oh, I don't want to talk to anybody about this because it's just like, I don't need to hear. And I understand like people have their, like, it's good intentioned. It's not shitty intentioned. Like, it's not, don't get me wrong. It's not that people are trying to, but it's not helpful. And why I stand by I don't answer questions I'm not asked rule. And I say this a lot on this podcast and to anybody who will listen, because I think it's important. It's like, sometimes you just need to vent. Sometimes you need just to talk out what happened. And I'm really sad. I'm really grateful that I am so busy and freaked out about my career that I don't really have time to wallow. So I write in the mornings, and there, I mean, truthfully, there's nothing to do about it except for just feel my feelings and sit with it. And that's really cool because last year I didn't know that. Last year it was just like disassociate or just like stare at my phone and will him to call me or like call him and call him and call him. You know what I mean? Like last year I'm just a completely different human. And this year it's just like, oh, I'm really uncomfortable because this hurts. I also know that the past has taught me two things. One, it will not last forever. In fact, the quicker I feel this shit, the quicker it'll go away. And two, if this isn't for me, that just means something way better is in front of me. You know what I mean? Like I told you a couple of weeks ago, I didn't get that immersive theater job, and my friend Katie was like, "It's so funny. I have a couple Katies in my life, and when I say Katie, I picture the Katie I'm talking about, but everyone thinks it's always the other one, but a different Katie than Wixom's mom, my best friend, but a dear friend of mine. She said. She was just like, oh, that's, I'm sorry you didn't get the job, but like, I can't wait to find out why. And I was like, what? And she goes, well, can't wait to find out why, because, there's always like a better thing that comes along that you wouldn't have been able to do had you got that job. So it's just like, I know that I am sad right now and I don't need anything other than I also think humans have a tendency to like want to fix shit. You know what I mean? Like they see someone sad and they're like, oh, I got to fix this. I'm uncomfortable with feelings, so I need to fix it. And it's just like, there's nothing to fix. I'm just sad and it'll pass. It'll go away. That's what happens with heartbreak. And, this guy's a dope. I know how he feels about me. I have years of text messages from him and from his dear friend about how he feels about me. And sometimes people get scared of that stuff and they sabotage. In fact, I know that's what he does because he's told me that on several occasions, that he ruins things that are good for him. And I don't even know if I'm good for him. Talking this out, it sounds like maybe he's just not the droid, man. Just not the droid. So I'm off that soapbox. I just have noticed in the last week and then people, and not everybody, but it's so funny. People want to know what happened. I want to know what happened because it's like, and it's like 10-15% of those people genuinely want to know you're okay. But then everybody else just wants to know what happened because we like the gossip. We like to know how, it is just like, it didn't work out. And, this may be the last we will talk about him on this podcast. That's a never say never Bible American tale, right? Never say never, never again. Do you remember the bird sang it to him? I'm not sure. I really liked that movie as a kid and it really scared me. I was like, that movie and Pinocchio scared the shit out of me. That island where they all turned into donkeys, that's horrifying. I don't even remember why they turned into donkeys. Did they drink beer? I don't think I got that from it, but Pinocchio and American Tail really freaked me the fuck out. So that's a bold statement. I'll never talk about this again. I scratch that. I will not edit it out. I think I might be the only person who doesn't edit their podcast because I'm a guest I've been a guest on several podcasts and they're like, I'll edit that out. And I'm like, oh, I don't edit. So if you're on my podcast, understand I'm not going to edit you out. So that's why. But also before when I have my guests, I ask them, is there anything off the table? Is there anything off the table that you don't want me to talk about, right? Boundary shit. I had my first live in-person show. Oh, I got a couple of things to tell you. I have a first live in-person show on Monday, a couple of days ago, which was awesome. It's just awesome to be back on stage. I was really nervous and scared, but I did do a couple of open mics last week. And it's just, I do know I've heard this a lot from a lot of female friends, female comedians that have gone out. They were like, the open mic world is so saturated, which is like mediocre, gross white dudes, like mediocre comics that are just like gross. And by gross, I mean, make a lot of rape jokes. So, I mean, actually gross, not like physically gross, not any of that, but like literally like these women are like, yeah, I'm the only woman at the mic and rape joke after rape joke. And then they all just like look at you like, are you going to freak out? You going to cancel me? And it's like, cancel culture makes me so angry. Hear me out. It's not cancel culture. You're just now being held accountable for your words and actions. Like when people are like, so we're just going to cancel everybody now? Well, we're not canceling you. You decided to have sex with a bunch of not have sex. That's a statutory rape. with a bunch of underage girls, children. That is not you getting canceled. That's now you getting held accountable for your actions. And yeah, it's just like, it's just like when people are so upset about cancel culture, it's like, I understand like what happened to Aziz Ansari, and he's fine now. He bounced back, but like that girl who like made this story up and then it came out that it was just like a bad date. Like that's shitty, but that guy bounced back. But like, I know cancel culture really pisses me off because it's like, no, you just make your rape joke, but understand that there's going to be consequences to it. There's going to be people that are going to go, I don't want to listen to that guy. You know what I mean? Like there's a comic, Tony Hinchcliffe, who went on this big, real racist Asian tirade at a show when the host was an Asian man, and he said like, Google it. It's bad. I'm not going to say any of the stuff, but he said some really bad racial slurs, and it's so funny because there's like three types of people. There's people that are like comics that are like, yeah, I'm going to jump on board with this, and like, I told you he was trash, and I want to be one of the ones that says he's trash. And then there's ones that are like me that are like, that's really shitty. That's shitty. That deserves to be told it's shitty. And then there's people who are like, it's all taken out of context. No, you can't say racial slurs and be in context. I don't know. I mean, like, people are like, it's all out of context. It's taken out of context, and that's not fair. Were we just going to cancel him now? We're just canceling everybody. And it's just like, well, there's consequences, and you just haven't. And it's mostly mediocre white guys who just haven't had consequences their whole life. They had a good 100,000-year run. You know, I don't know how long the human race has been around, but maybe longer, maybe shorter. I have no idea. But you had a good run, guys. And now you're starting to be held accountable for your actions. You're barely being held accountable for your actions, by the way. Barely. Like, some of you rape us and then only go to jail for like 3 months. So like, it just makes me so angry, this cancel culture. And people are like, so what, am I not allowed to joke about anything anymore? And it's like, well, you can say whatever you want, but understand fucking consequences. So I was at a mic last week, and I didn't have a female friend with me. And I'm not anybody. Like, don't say like, do they know who I am? I don't mean that, but I'm like, I'm in there to just like I was in a room full of open micers, like people who are just going to open mics. They're not getting booked on shows. They're not, I've been doing comedy a long time, and I think I'm not stuck up. I go to open mics, but like, I also was like, I need to get on stage and hold a microphone a couple of times before I go perform in front of real people. Right. So I did my closer at this open mic that was full of dudes. There was one girl in there, but mostly dudes and all open micers. And I did my closer, which I would say 99.9% of the time it slaughters. One point, a few times it has not done well, and it just looks like I confess something but it's about me puking on a dick. And a whole story around that. And it's a great bit, and I love it. And it's a crowd pleaser, and I keep thinking I'm going to change my closer, but it's still working. So maybe, one day, I don't know. I used to talk about how I wet the bed, and then I wrote the puke dick joke. So maybe a new one will come. We're always evolving. But I did that joke, and that joke is a solid joke. It's a solid bit, right? It's been worked out. I just needed to say it out loud with a microphone on stage. And it does talk about sex a lot in it, but I don't even need to make a case for it. I was in a room full of peers, right? And this guy gets up and he's bombing, and then he looks at me and he goes, I'm going to jerk off to your set later. It's just like, Jesus. And it got laughs because it was a room full of dudes. And then he said something about, he's a black dude. And he was like, he's like, you wouldn't fuck me though. I have 2 black parents. I'm not like you look like you'd only fuck a half black dude. And it was just like, what are you doing? You paid money for stage time. Why are you doing crowd work on one of your peers? Like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? Like, work your bits, even though they weren't doing well, work your bits. And I wasn't laughing. I was just staring at him, and he goes, relax. These are jokes. You're going to be fine. And I was like, yeah, dude, I'm cool. And then that got a laugh, which it was satisfying. But was even more satisfying, I tweeted out, I was like, well, I did an open mic last night, and only one open micer dude said he was going to jerk off to my set. So progress. And then I was like, comedy's back. And a few men messaged me or commented and said, will you name names? because we don't want that shit in our community anymore. Because it's like, it looks bad for the male comedians, because it's just like the good male comedians that would never, I'm your peer. What are you doing? Oh, it's just so like, it was just, and it was just like, and I don't remember his name. I have no problem saying his name on this. I just don't remember his name, and I probably will never see him again. But it's just like, Jesus. But it's like, yeah, I feel like I'm just doing a lot of complaining today. I have a lot going on and I'm really stressed out, and my vagina is just pouring blood. It's not blood, I know, but my cramps. The weird thing about COVID, since I got COVID, my period cramps are awful. Like, that was a new thing that COVID, another little gift COVID gave me. My cramps are awful. Like, they're like awful. Just kidding. I wanted to say that again. But so I had my first live in-person show, which was really fun. It was in Lancaster, which is very far in the middle of nowhere. And it was an outdoor, they had like the parking lot. I'm sure it's not usually this big. Maybe it is. I have no idea. But it was like the parking lot had tents and there was a stage, and it was like, I mean, it was huge. It was like a quarter of a football field, right? And it was like probably like 60 people, but spread out. And it's a bar show. So it was like half the people were listening. The other half I'm burping. Sorry, Jesus. Yelling over you. But it was, I was funny. I like in those scenarios, you have like, your job is to get people to pay attention to you. In bar shows, because it's like a lot of times bar shows, they don't even know a comedy show is going to happen. Some bar shows do, but the awesome shows to do, they know a comedy show and they're there for the comedy show. But other bar shows, that's just like you're standing in the middle of someone's Friday night and you're talking about, puking on a dick, and they're amused at best and they're confused while you're yelling at them. Like, so it's like your job is to like get them, if you can hook them, it can be a great show. And it was awesome. It was only a couple comics and all of us did pretty well. And it was a nice day back. And tomorrow I'm at the Comedy Chateau, which is Thursday, the 27th. If you're in Los Angeles and want to see me live, go to the Comedy Chateau. I forgot to update my website, and oh no, I don't. It's at the link in my bio on my Instagram. And if you use promo code KYM, all caps, you will get free tickets to that. So if you want to come see me tomorrow night, I guess I'm back, baby. I don't know. Is anybody else experiencing this? I'm experiencing this, like, it's coming back too fast. You know what I mean? Like, I find myself very overwhelmed if I have more than like 4 things to do in a day. Like, I'm so overwhelmed today. It's actually nice to just sit here and know that for an hour, all I got to do is just talk to you all. And that's it. And then I got to brush my teeth. I forgot to do that before I came in here. That's gross. I'm sorry. But I had coffee. Who cares? It just seems like it's coming back really fast. And I don't think it is. I think it's just coming back really fast, like, because we sat still for so long. And I'm overwhelmed. Oh God, I'm overwhelmed out in the world. I apparently don't know how to be around people. I went to a house party, like a little barbecue in the backyard, because my best friends are in town. And and everybody was vaccinated. My one buddy, when I showed up, I was like, I had my mask on, and then I was like, oh, no one has their masks on. We're all vaccinated. And one buddy goes, yeah, we're vaccinated. And then my other friend, who's just one of the funniest people I've ever met, he goes, no, I'm not vaccinated. I'm not into all that. And I wasn't even mad because I don't know. I was like, really? And he goes, no, I'm fucking with you. I'm fucking vaccinated. And my reaction, I was like, I don't know. I just don't know anybody no one in my life is anti-vax. Like, I think I've successfully, if not before this year I definitely successfully weeded out all those people, right? Because there's a correlation between anti-vaxxers, racist people, Trump supporters, anti-choice people who love Planned Parenthood. It's weird. There's like hate Planned Parenthood. There's like a weird, they all have one thing in common. Like, like they all feel that way. And then they all quote Jesus a lot. And it's just like, dude, I don't think Jesus would agree with you. But so I don't know anybody of rational sound mind that is an anti-vaxxer. And so I got way too excited because I was like, I would like to sit down with somebody and ask them why. I mean, I don't really, because I feel like it would be talking to, like, I'd be better off explaining why you should get vaccinated to my cat. But at this, so everyone was vaccinated, including the guy who made the joke. But so I accidentally mouth kissed two people. I don't know how to be in front of people, guys. I don't know what I'm going to do. One, I was sitting with Katie, my best friend, and we were sitting with the baby. I met the baby. The baby is adorable. Obviously it's a baby, and it's Katie and Dave's baby. So, and it's related to Wixom. You don't know who any of these people are. Maybe you do. If you follow me on Instagram, you probably see all the pictures of them. But so I was sitting holding the baby. We're sitting on the ground on a blanket, and one of our friends comes over to say goodbye, and he goes and hugs Katie, and Katie hugs him, and he kisses her on the cheek, and that's normal. And then he comes to hug me and kisses me on the cheek, but instead of just letting him kiss me on the cheek, and we're old friends, like that's not creepy at all, but I turned my head and kissed him on the mouth. We mouth kissed, and it was just like a pause where we just sort of looked at each other, and he's like, oh, bye. And I was like, bye. And then I looked at Katie, and I didn't say anything for a minute. And then I was like, did you? And she goes, yeah, I saw you mouth kiss him. And I was like, why did I do that? And she goes, I don't fucking know. And then like 10 minutes later, another friend came over to hug us, and I mouth kissed him too. Oh my God. And these aren't like creepy dudes. These are like family dudes. Like these are like some of my the best humans I've ever met in my whole life. They may even be listening to this now. But I was just like, why do I keep doing that? I don't know how I'm going to survive. And before I was isolated for a year, I was weird around people. I'm just an awkward girl. I don't think I'm an awkward girl. I think no, I'm a pretty awkward girl, but I'm awesome. I have a t-shirt for that. I need to make these new t-shirts. There's just a list upon list. How does everybody like, I know I'm doing a lot of comparing my insides to other people's outsides, because it's like, why does everybody have it so together, and their websites are up, and then they have their t-shirts going, and they have their production company, and then they're this and then that, and then they're able to go out on a Friday night, and then they also are able to maintain a healthy relationship while going to therapy. And I'm like, I don't have that. But then I also haven't sat down with these people and been like, so do you cry yourself to sleep every night? Or, you know what I mean? Like, what's your thing? Like, so just a lot of comparing insides to outsides. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing. A lot of cool stuff is happening, and I'm just trying to stay present and just go the next best thing. What's the next best thing? And I'm also still in the middle of my 12 steps. If you're a 12-step program person, I'm in my step 9 still, and I'm still making amends. I'm in the process of writing my mother a letter to, by process, I mean, I wrote down that I need to write her a letter, and I have not looked at it since, but making an amends, and then basically being like, please don't contact me anymore. She's just not a healthy person. At all. I mean, she's mentally ill, and then she's also really mean, and just not available. Just not an available person. Like I was reading this book a little while ago about, and it was like a biography. It was like a self-help book. It was Girl, Wash Your Face. The whole book kind of annoyed me, but there was but it annoyed me because it was just like, as a 20-year-old, I would have enjoyed it. But as like a 30-year-old, I'm not embarrassed by my age. At 38-year-old, I was like, yeah, I know that. Because it was just like, everybody has hair on their feet. You know what I like? It was just like, yeah, but at 20, you were horrified of that kind of thing. I mean, I don't have hairy feet, but we all have to shave our big toe every now and then. Gross. Sorry. But somebody died in her family, and she was talking about how her mom had been there for her, and how her mom and both of her parents were parents. And that's like the part of the book I got like super emotional during, because I was just like, I have had to walk through so much alone. With like so much alone that people like, I was with a girl the other day, and she was talking about how one of her friends got COVID, and her boss was trying to force her to work. Otherwise, we're fucked, guys. By the way, there's so many people that still don't believe this thing is real, and that it was basically trying to force her to work with COVID. And she was like, I'm so scared I can't pay my bills and I need to work and he'll fire me if I don't, which is super illegal, right? But she was like, I told her, you have parents, you worst case scenario, they will help you. You can move in with them. And it's just like, I've never had that. I mean, I do have my cousin, obviously, and I have a lot of really good friends. Like I'm lucky in that like I may not have gotten the family that I dreamt of as a child, but like as an adult, I got a family that I would never even have been able to dream of. You know, I have people that will do literally anything for me. And it's just, I'm so lucky. That could be your one lucky broad today. How's that? I'm one lucky broad. I think it's the same every week. I have no idea. I don't remember a lot. I didn't, I had this a little bit before I had COVID, but now it's just full on. I don't remember what I did this morning. I literally have no idea what I did yesterday. I have to like sit down and really think about it, look at the day, all that stuff. But so the brain fog shit is so real. But I didn't get, I didn't get the mom. I didn't get I do know that if I like ran out of money and couldn't get a job, I know I have 20 people that would help me and wouldn't like, I'll never be a homeless person. None of that will ever happen to me. Right. And but my mom will pop in every now and then and it's on my side of it is that I allow it to happen without saying anything. Like she'll be lucid and healthy for a while and she'll get sober and she'll be in AA and she'll stop doing drugs and she'll, be taking the right kind of medication with the psychiatrist and really doing her work. And she's my favorite person. Like, and which is so heartbreaking. She's my favorite person when she's mentally, on her shit, but she's just a really unhealthy woman. And unfortunately, with some mental illnesses and alcoholism, denial is really deep, and your disease and illness actively tells you you're not sick, And so she will get off these meds and then she'll either disappear, go to jail, rehab, or start calling me and leaving like 2 minutes. I think the limit is 2 minutes and 59 seconds of a voicemail because she'll leave a full voicemail that'll cut her off, calling me some of the worst names I've ever been called in my life. And I know it's not personal. I know that. And I know it's sad and it sucks. I wish that she didn't have to battle those demons. But I don't even know why I'm talking about this. I guess I'm avoiding writing this letter like I owe him money because she's not safe for me to call. But it's just like, lady, I can't do this anymore because then she'll start to get better and then she'll pop back into my life and then we just pretend none of it happened. And it's like years of stuff. And I haven't seen her, I want to say in 12 years. I haven't spoken to her. There's been texts here and there in the last couple of years, but I haven't talked to her on the phone in like 5 years. And I don't know what I'm looking for. I know the amends is that I ghosted this last time. Like I just stopped responding to her messages. I don't know. I'm still working it out, but I'm looking at that with like the world opening, how stressed out I am, how I'm kind of emotional a lot. And I'm being easy on myself. Like I had a virus that attacked my body. That's what that thing does. And my body responded to it in not my favorite way. I don't know how else to say that, right? It's so funny. Like I've been around people recently and it's literally the same conversation. So what was your symptoms? Blah, 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 blah. Are you still having them? Yes. Oh my God, you're still having them? Yes, I'm still having them. What ones are you having? I'm having these. Oh my God, that's so scary. What are you going to do? I can't do anything. What do you like? And it's just the same conversation. And then it's just easier to be like, I'm better. And then people are like, you are? And it's like, yeah. Oh my God, thank God. And I'm like, well, I'm not actually better, but I don't know how else to, like, it's just such a cycle. But it's just like, this is me saying all the things like, of course you're stressed out, Kralski. Of course you are. Your body is not doing what you want it to do. You have I'm making some money here and there, and unemployment, we'll see what happens. I don't know, where we just refiled, and I guess we'll wait 2 weeks to see whether or not my boss declines it. And if he does, I have some contingency plans that I will not talk about on here until it comes, because I don't want to jinx it, or legality wise, I'm not sure. I've had a few people advise me about some things. But yeah, it's just a lot. And so I'm still also processing my shit, right? My childhood shit. I keep being like, I hope that's over in like 6 months, but I unfortunately had one of those childhoods that I daily will have to wake up and, do shit that helps with my mental wellness. I don't wake up every morning and cry about what happened to me as a kid. Don't get me wrong. That's long over. I'm fine now, but it is like still processing, because I still have, like I said at the beginning of this, I think I'm emotionally unavailable. And I think that may be why I still am picking emotionally unavailable people. Because I think I might be. And of course I am. Look at this. So you just breathe. I don't know, man. A lot of cool stuff is happening, a lot of scary stuff. I know I'm on the right track because I'm equally as excited. I'm excited and freaked out. That's the right track. The right track is being equally excited and equally freaked out. And I don't know, I feel like I had some stuff to share, but I don't now. I don't know what I'm saying. Oh yeah, speaking of my mom years ago, she, like, one of the things that, like, we never were fine again afterwards, which is so funny because I was a 16-year-old and she brought it up for years. She lost her job. She worked in insurance, and she worked for this guy. I think his name was Don. I feel like she worked for like 40 Dons. Like, is that weird? I don't know. I feel like her boss was always named Don, but it was like in different cities. My mom moved a lot. So I think like it was just different towns and cities, but they all were named Don. Or maybe I just named them all Don. I don't know. But I do know this guy's I don't for sure know his name was we'll call him Don. And so Don had a kid my age, and I wasn't a popular teenager. You know that, right? I did have a friend named Catherine who was popular, but she was like 2 years younger than me. So my best friend was like 2 years younger than me and pretty popular in her grade. She was like a very pretty teenager, and I was missing teeth. But I think I was wearing my teeth at that time. Anyway, so we would go to this club called Hollywood Legends. Jesus Christ. And you only needed to have it was a 16 and up club, right? And Hollywood Legends in Colorado and Denver. And Catherine was 2 years younger than me. So, but she looked more 16 than I did. So I think that probably helped her a lot, because she looked way more 16 than I did. And so I had my driver's license, and then she had, God, I hated dancing too. I was so bad at it. It was so gangly and awkward. But she had her high school ID that she put a sticker on that said 96 instead of 94 or 98 or whatever year it was, right? So it looked like she would be 16. And they accepted that ID, but I think they accepted it because I had a right ID and she looked like she was like 18. I was going to say 40. She didn't look 40 at that age, but so we would go dancing at this Hollywood Legends a lot. And so awful. And she was like, I don't want to say hot because we were 15, but she was like a hot 15-year-old. You know what I mean? Like the popular hot 15, all the 15-year-old boys wanted her. It sounds creepy now within the light of all the stuff that's going on with all like people in our Congress and Senate that like to fuck children. But like as a teenage, so to understand now, I don't look back and go, Catherine's smoking. But when I was a kid, I thought my kid peer, I don't know why I'm overly explaining this. I don't think anyone here thinks I'm attracted to 15-year-old Catherine, but I over-explained it. So now some of you are probably wondering. But so she was just like, we would go to the club and I was the ugly friend, right? So like boys would come over and talk to us, but more talk to her. And then they would just tolerate me because I was gangly, awkward, very flat chested. I had braces and a retainer. And I also had these like weird Garfield curtain bangs. Like they were like, Garfield has the ears. So they like would come up like the ears, but they were like 5 hairs. Like it wasn't like my bangs now, like they're bangs. They were like a couple of hairs. So it was just like my massive forehead and like a few hairs covering it. It was a nightmare. I didn't have a mom. No one was there to be like, hey, let's help you learn how to do your makeup. I don't think my mom ever taught me how to do any of that stuff. It was all trial and error, baby. She did use hot rollers, which I use now, but she used hot rollers. And I would, what am I saying? Oh yeah. And I watch her. So like I eventually, and so I have no idea how to use curling iron. The thing completely eludes me. I've tried to use it 4 years and I've just given up, but my hair is pretty and a lot of people compliment it. So thanks Terry for that. But so we're like, so where my mom was like, so my Don wants you guys to meet. He thinks that you will hit it off with his son. And I was just like, okay, I don't know why this happened at all. Why? Like, why on earth was Don like, you should hang out with Terry's daughter? And why on earth my mom would be like, yeah, that's a good idea. Like, parents shouldn't set up their teenagers with other teenagers. I don't know, because teenagers are mean. We weren't mean to this kid, but we're like dancing and we were cool. I mean, Catherine was cool and I was hanging out with Catherine, so I was cool by proxy, right? So we're dancing and in walks Don's kid and his friend, and they're in matching sweater vests, and they're just nerds. You know, I'm sorry. That's mean. I was a nerd, but I was an undercover because I was hanging out with Catherine. So I was like, oh, I'm cool enough to call people nerds, you know. And so they came over and they got in the club and we danced with them for a little bit. And then we were just like, we have to go to the bathroom. And we went to the bathroom and we were like, we want to ditch them. And I was 16. I wasn't like, this could affect my mom. This could impact her job negatively if we ditch them at this club. Like that, I was a 16-year-old. You don't think about that shit, right? And so we left them there. I don't think we told them we were leaving. I think we literally said, we'll be right back. And then we just got in my car and drove away. And my mom was furious at me, furious. Like, how dare I do that to her boss's son? And it was just like, I mean, now, like, I felt horribly guilty. And now I look back and I'm like, I was 16. We were kids. Why did you expect, like, but my mom lost her job, like, shortly after that. She said Don never treated her the same again. And then she lost her job shortly after that, which then she blamed me for. And then I felt like this weird guilt for a long time that I got my mom to lose her job. And my mom never really I don't believe she got any jobs after that. Like, she was kind of stay at home. My little brother was born shortly after that, I think. But like, yeah, he was born a couple of years after that. But like, so she couldn't get a job. And I always took it, like, I always was like, that is on me, because she would tell me it was on me. And now that as an adult, I guess I'm more telling the story that I can let that go now. I didn't get my mom to lose her job. My mom was an alcoholic who went to jail and rehabs a lot and would frequently show up to work drunk or coked out or high. Like, these are coming from her mouth stories, right? So like, I imagine something else was in the way of her getting jobs other than me rejecting another 16-year-old at 16, right? I don't know. I could be wrong. Hollywood legends, though. God, it wasn't an 18 and up club. It was like a bar on the weekends, but the weekdays we would go dancing. There's so many things about my childhood that are so bizarre. I mean, besides the obvious, like, wild abuse, but like, there were things that my dad was just like really cool with, and then things that were just like not on the table. Like, I wasn't allowed to watch certain things, but then we watched The Exorcist and Full Metal Jacket when I was like 10. Both 100% traumatized me. That guy killing himself was awful. And then The Exorcist was horrifying, right? But then on like weeknights, it was okay that I went to like a club dancing as long as I was home by a certain time. I don't know, wild. And then I also used to hang out with this girl who used to do a lot of ecstasy. I don't think my dad knew she did ecstasy, but like, it was just like, there was like no rain, but then too much rain. Not rain like pouring rain, but like rains, like REINS. You guys get it. Well, I think we did well this time. I think the show went all right, right? My brain is in like 6 million places. I have to pee really bad and maybe poop. Oh, no, I pooped pretty bad this morning. That's the one good thing about this period is that I poop a lot while I'm on my period. Gross. I'm sorry. If anybody was ever attracted to me and then they listen to this podcast, they probably aren't. Probably why I didn't want my old dude, my ex guy, not to listen to this. I mean, I was always pretty open with him about this stuff, and he thought poop was funny. So I don't know what I'm saying right now, but I feel like we got through it. We did it. I don't mean get through it. I enjoy doing these. It relaxes me. It makes me happy. And I love the fact that there are people that still listen to me every week and still get a lot out of my stories and my experiences. and my hope. And so I'm going to head to an audition where I'm going to play a mom in a Jumanji sort of situation. I've never seen Jumanji, so I don't know what I'm going in for, but we'll see what happens. It's on Zoom. And then I'm going to go hang out with my best friends for the next couple of days and just kind of put down all my stress and enjoy myself. I am going to pee my pants, dude. Like this is not good. I'm going to pee my pants. So we're going to hurry up and do this. We're going to hurry. I'm going to pee my pants. I'm going to level with you. I paused it and I went to go pee because I have someone else's poop scoop story and I didn't want to rush it, but I literally was like, I could pee my pants in here. And you've listened to the podcast. I have peed my pants a lot, way past the time you're supposed to pee your pants, right? Like way past your time. One time I was working at this store in Colorado called Just for Feet. It was a athletic shoe store and I was a cashier. Oh God, they used to have this massive shoe that had the bathroom key on it, like this big, like this, by massive, I mean like Shaquille O'Neal's size shoe. You think I know the size shoe? Because I hated that shoe. I hated it. Like, just because it'd have to sit on the counter and people would come up and it would be like, oh, that's a big shoe. Is that your shoe? Haha, that seems like too big of a shoe for you. Ooh, you must have big feet if that's your shoe. Whoa, how big is that shoe? I had to talk about that goddamn shoe nonstop for years. I don't know how long I worked at Just for Feet, but so long. Everyone loved that shoe. And then I would try to hide it. Like I would like put it under the counter when I was working because I hated that goddamn thing. I just hate forced small talk and ordinary, like David Sedaris has this thing in one of his books where he was like at a fun little shop and there were eyeballs in a bowl and he went to grab the eyeballs and then there was a sign that says, do not put these eyeballs up to your eyeballs and pretend they're your eyeballs. And he goes, I don't know what was more disappointing, that I wasn't allowed to do that or the fact that they had to make a sign, which makes me very ordinary, like makes me just like everybody else. Like my idea was so unoriginal that they had to make a sign to not do it. And that's how I feel about that goddamn shoe. I hated that shoe. Anyway, so I was working at Just for Feet one time and this girl that I used to go to elementary school with, who was like my best friend in elementary school, I guess like we hadn't seen each other in a long time, right? Like I was like in college. So it was like 10 years and she showed up at my house and my dad told her to go to Just for Feet. And so she came to Just for Feet and it's like one of those weird Twilight things where you don't expect to see someone. So it takes you a minute to like register who they are. And she was like, I wanted to come see you. And I ended up having dinner with her and her husband or something. I can't remember. This was a really long time ago, but I remember she decided to say this story. She goes, remember that time in first grade when you were like, I have to go to the bathroom and Miss Sterick said no. And you went, oh yeah, okay. And then you stood on your chair and peed your pants in front of everybody. And I was like, no, but that explains a lot why I didn't have a lot of friends for a while. Like, I don't remember that at all. It could be. I peed my pants a ton. I peed my pants all the time from laughing well into high school. So I was like, and then a few times in college, and then one more time when I was like 30. But so the point of that is I had to stop because I wanted to take my time in my last part of this, and I knew I'd pee my pants. There was no option. So that was a fun sidebar. All right, here we go. Okay, today is somebody else's poop scoop who has asked me to keep it anonymous. See, we can keep it anonymous, so send me your poop scoop stories, please. And he also said that he doesn't know if he could live up to Roger. So I guess maybe everyone's really scared. Roger will love this. Oh, by the way, today's Roger's 50th birthday. Happy birthday, Roger. That's part of why I'm a little stressed out because I need to get over and start celebrating with him. But I have to work. That's one funny thing about this like new freelance thing I'm trying and throwing everything at, like where I don't have it. I feel like people think, and not Roger, I'm not talking, but like it, and it is also me where I'm like, well, I could do these later, but it's like, no, I have to do these things because later I will get money for them so I can continue to not have to work in a bar. Right. And so, but it's so funny. It's just like, it's weird to call it work, but this is work, even though I'm having a nice time, but it's leading to other things. You know what I mean? So it's just really funny that it's cool though. Whoever knew that one day I was going to be able to do this for fun, read other people's poop scoop stories. But so it's Roger's 50th birthday. Wish him a happy birthday. And I know his poop scoop stories are amazing. He says more coming. How does he has as many as I do. But don't let that tell you not to send your stories. Send them to me, kimcrawlspace@gmail.com, kimcrawlspace@gmail.com. And you can be anonymous, just like this person. He was like, I want it to be anonymous. I think it's more mysterious that way. And I'll keep you anonymous. So and then just write it out and then we can all talk about it and laugh. I love he titled his too. You ready? All right. I haven't read this yet. So remember, I'm a slow reader. But here we go. Let me just make sure I'm recording again. I had this fear that I forgot to hit record run. Nope, I am. Okay, good. When you come back from the bathroom, you're all frazzled and shit. All right, it's called A Night at the Mall. On perfect Friday nights in the 80s, my parents dropped me off at the mall, and my friends and I walked around for a few hours. Our mall had a movie theater, and one particular Friday night, I had a movie date with a girl. He says about the something of mall dates. Why can't I read that word? The Pantaleon. Oh yeah, you can't put big words in here because I don't read it right away. Oh man, I just expose myself as sometimes I'm not the smartest girl. I don't know much about history. Of mall dates. A movie date had very little to do with the actual movie and mostly involved heavy petting in the back of a row of the theater. Good for you, dude. I didn't have any of those. I never went on a movie date. Once I did in high school, but it was very awkward. I'm blushing now talking about it. It was a magical time, the golden months, the perfect time, puberty coming of age when for some reason the girls are just as horny as the boys, but neither of them know what to do with themselves or each other. It was in the 80s. We only had magazines for porn. There was no internet or videotapes. We were Neanderthals. The girls had yet to figure out that the boys their age were idiots. Soon they would abandon us for older boys who would drive and stuff. Oh, I love that. I wish I never had that. That sounds fun. That sounds nice. On this night, per my instructions, my parents dropped me off as far away from the movies as possible. This gave me a solid 15-minute walk from the drop zone across the mall to the theater. I was already nervous. This was a real date. I even got a little dressed up for some reason. Oh, I was poised for some over the shirt boob touching and French kissing. Consensual, of course. Oh. We were so innocent. There was no expectations for reciprocation. The girls just made out and tolerated, hopefully enjoyed the groping. In retrospect, I'm sure they got very little out of this fumbling, but thank you for putting up with us. Thinking mostly about boobs as I stride confidently past the Orange Julius, I let out what I believed to be a very normal, silent, crop, dustable fart. I drastically miscalculated. I was young. I was not experienced in the Madrid subtleties, the warning signs, the nuance, the sphincter discipline, or the dire consequences of a shart gone wrong. God, I love sharts. I had never gone beyond the skid mark. This was uncharted territory. From a nervous stomach innocent air biscuit to a full diaper situation in a blink of a brown eye. Oh my God, what did you do? Mall bathrooms are located in a hidden labyrinth behind the stores, and I was lost for an oil slick of overturned outhouse in my pants. I made my mess, and now I had to squish through the mall in it. Oh my God. I squeezed cheeks and shuffled like a penguin. Oh no, until I found the bathroom where I could assess the damage. There was no way I was missing this movie. Oh, you should have missed this movie. I got into the stall and carefully peeled down my pants. Luckily, the elastic leg holes on my tidy whities had contained the mess of Villain Lily. I thanked them for their service as they dropped in the bin with a heavy thud. By a stroke of luck, I had dark brown pants on, so any leakage blended in perfectly. The cleanup with cold water and cheap industrial brown wood chip paper towels were more smearing than absorbing, but I did my best. I wasn't expecting to go commando on my first date, but I gotta do what you gotta do. I made a beeline to a department store cologne display. Good thinking on your toes. For a few sprays of Dracker Noir, and I was back in business. Life lesson learned. I gambled and I lost. Oh my God. How'd the date go? I want to know how the date went. Did she know you pooped your pants? I feel like a lot of us have walked around after pooping our pants, and it's just like, it's my little secret. Nobody knows. Thank you for sharing that. That was amazing. Please send me your poop scoop stories and your one lucky broads, or just say hi. I am getting a lot of messages and I will respond to them. I'm so sorry. I get overwhelmed. I think it's anxiety. Yeah. I think that's the show. If you get a second, please subscribe, download, rate, review, share if you get a chance. The reviews just mean a lot. They just help. The more reviews you get, I got a couple more this week, which is really nice, or the last week or so. If you're able to review it, please do. It just helps the podcast get further along and more and better. Where I can maybe get on a network or something like that, where many things can happen. So if you've been like, maybe I should leave a review, please leave a review. I can't talk right now. I'm like stuttering. So this review this week is from Mom is Tired. I think I know what this is, but I'm not sure because I think I asked her and I think she was like, no, that's not me. So I don't know. But Crawl Space is Kim Kral. If you have ever worked with Kim, listening to this hour is like the first few minutes of your shift. She's going to cover guys, family, and personal baggage and poop. It's awkward. It's awesome. It's everything everybody loves about Kim. Oh, there's more. Kim has crazy stories, but they are all part of her mental health and the journey she is taking. I love this podcast. She is honest, transparent, helpful, funny. She makes me feel not so weird. Like she talks to herself all the time, and it made me feel like, oh, I'm not the only one who does that. She's funny and zany, but she takes steps all the time to change herself for the better. If you want to listen to a podcast that can make you feel normal in an unnormal world, sing, laugh, and have great tips to get you through tough times or issues, this is a good one. Thank you. I think I know who this is. And thank you so much. Oh, that was really, I think when I read this, I only saw the first part, but the last part I missed. And that's just really touching. Thank you so much. Yeah. So if you want to make my day, send me a review. Did you see how choked up I got a little bit there? Yeah, guys, thank you so much for listening. Thanks for listening to this. Maybe, you know what, every week I think I'm like, I don't even know what I talked about. Maybe every week I am just like, bing, 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 bing. And you guys are like, yeah, this isn't unnormal. You're always like this. But that's the show. If you want to give me a follow, KYMKRAL on everything. If you're in Hollywood or in Los Angeles, come check me out at the Comedy Chateau tomorrow night at 9:30, the 27th. If you put in the promo code KYM, all caps, you will get free tickets. I would love to see some faces. And my book is coming out in 3 weeks, guys. 3.5 weeks. 3.5 fucking weeks my book will be out. I hope you buy it. I hope someone buys it. I hope it's not nobody buys it. I hope it's not just me and I was going to say my brother. I don't even think my brother knows that I have any of this stuff. It got weird on the end. Why does it always get weird in the end? Why don't I just be normal and say goodbye? I always do like the peripheral mouth kiss before I leave any situation. Peripheral? That's not the word. All right. I love you guys. Thank you so much for listening, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.